Yeah, 250, please. Awesome, thank you so much. Cheers, see you soon, bye, bye, bye.
I think I am speaking first.
Yeah.
That's great. I just have a quick look at the.
Still would be perfect, yeah. Thank you so much, yeah.
Into the planets. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I just must have
Thank you
thought.
so much.
I must have thought, yeah, that's
all
fine.
your details, you confirm them, so it's fine. You know they were all right, so that's all good. That was good getting right first time.
So,
I'm going to be during the day. I'm just going to be in the library.
Oh.
Working away. If you need to just grab me.
We're going to be on between now and 9:30 till 10:30,
yeah.
plus a little bit maybe for questions. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. I didn't know what to call you, Michael. Did you? Because I had a title, I put your title.
I actually said that tomorrow last night. I was like, oh.
Well, I thought it was about daft me being doctor and then you just been Michael.
That's fine.
I didn't know what. Do you want Mike at Mister?
Maybe? No, Mr.'s fine.
Is that okay?
Mr. McDonald's my bag.
Right. Thanks. Am I okay to flick through?
Yeah, definitely, please do. I'm just put on the back of your slides anyway, so it's...
Or live, but not live.
Well, I was going to say that.
I just put up something saying the stream starts at 9:30. So
Perfect.
The QR code I'll put it on. Yeah. I will.
Sorry. I'm sorry to. Good morning. I'm so sorry, I probably didn't make that, because we thought this would be a really good opportunity for Michael and I to do the practice as well.
That's fine. Work out the practice.
Why don't we distribute 2 lateral flow tests each to take them to next week?
Right, okay.
Or we say 4?
4.
I think it's 4.
I've added a bit in the top, just the questions.
Yeah, I saw that, that's great. Additional lateral flow tests. I just on base ward. So twice weekly tasting and recording. Do you want me to talk about the lateral flow tests? I'll do that. IT and passwords. Do you want to do IT and passwords uniform? So no scrubs. Will we inflame them by saying no scrubs?
I suppose, yeah, we probably would. Do we
So we'll just say
expect it to be professional?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just something.
Well, I'm going to send you an email with all of the first one.
Perfect, thank you.
Just to say, I'm trying to be fast but not walk
So, Michael, is it okay just to, is it okay, can we just run through our slides just to see how they look? Would that be all right? What will they look? Sorry, I know that's stupid. Sounds stupid. What will they look like? Will we see? Do we get a preview?
Yeah, we'll see them on that.
Right, fine, fabulous.
Yeah, I'll file that up to you now.
Right, okay. I've done a quick check. I've taken out the update about the. Thanks for putting the update on the thing. Oh, Will we? So sorry if I stare at you two.
No, it's okay.
Smile, wave, smile.
It's nice having some people to.
It is.
It's good to communicate.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Morning, everyone, and welcome to your first day as a doctor. What an achievement. All these years, all those exams, and this is your first day as a doctor. And the first day as a doctor has many responsibilities, both clinically and professionally. And we'll talk through some of these as we go through your induction. And one of the things I'd like to say before we even start is a huge welcome to you. Welcome to joining us in NHSGGC. And again, an achievement to get to where you are. And induction and shadowing, it's not just a single day. It is probably, the first 2 weeks that we're talking about, and then several weeks after that you start to really develop and experience life as a doctor. So, without further ado, we're going to go through our welcome. And there's two of us going to be doing that today. That's myself, I'm Lindsay Donaldson, I'm an intensive care consultant at Glasgow Royal Infirmary, and also I'm Director of Medical Education within NHSGGC. With me today is Mr Michael McCrossan, our Medical Education Quality Improvement Manager, who will go through some of the key aspects of living and working as a doctor within NHSGGC. If you have any questions, we have a team on standby who will be able to direct your questions to us at the front here. We've got YouTube comments, and those are the Twitter handles as well. So ask us anything as you go through this day and the next few days as part of your induction. We know that you're joining us early this year. Some of you are joining us this optional week, but the optional week is you're starting early, but the days aren't optional. You're starting to get paid as of today. So thank you for joining us early. Enjoy this additional week. And your colleagues, around 90 more colleagues, will be joining you on the 28th. And our programme over the next couple of days, these are programmed activities. This is as I say, it's the optional, but you are paid as of this morning. We're starting today with this patient and trainee safety induction. This is for your safety and also your patient's safety, and we're doing this as a live broadcast. This afternoon, we'd like you to spend some time just familiarising yourself with the online allocation that we're looking for, so the online elements of your induction, and that is the statutory mandatory training, the organisational induction, and IT training. You've got plenty of time over the next 2 weeks to do all of this within your paid time. This afternoon, you'll have an opportunity to pick up badges and get yourself ready for starting on the sites as of tomorrow. I know that some of you are undertaking ILS this afternoon on the QE campus, and we will be in touch with those starting. I think there's around 12 of you doing that. We'll be in touch with you around the appropriate time back that we will give you during your induction this week, because we know that you've been looking at some material, so thank you for that. Tomorrow, we're looking at site induction, so we've got several levels of induction. Organisational, we've got departmental, and also site, and it's your site induction tomorrow. So there'll be a welcome from the site team, and the key people in your site team are your foundation programme directors, your associate directors of medical education, and also your medical education managers. Use these people. They are there for you to support you and also to guide you through the next few weeks. There'll be a welcome, and then we're going to start looking at some of the key elements of working. So we're looking at PACS, that's our online radiology service. Then we're looking at MedsRec and IDL. This is something that you'll become familiar with. And MedsRec is the Medicines Reconciliation, and the IDL are the immediate discharge letters. There's a pharmacy session that is led locally by your local pharmacy team. Again, hugely important members of our team, and also a hugely important asset for you when you're starting your work. The hospital at night, the local leads will take you through what is expected of you when you're on call and how you work as part of that team. And also you'll be aware of HEPMA, the rollout within GGC. Some of you will have seen that in your placements and other boards, but the QE site has HEPMA now, and it will roll out to the rest of GGC in time. And then finally, let's get a coffee. So have a coffee, and then tomorrow you're going to go and meet your department leads, and you're going to have a bit of a tour and an induction to that department. But also, let's buddy you up with some people that will help you through the next couple of weeks, show you the ropes. And again, in the afternoon, you've got the opportunity for the clinical ward shadowing, the ILS, the immediate life support, and your simulation training. And always at the same time, there is the online learning to do that runs in parallel, and you find time. And over the next 2 weeks, you're not starting your actual work, although you're paid from today. Your actual work starts 2 weeks today. And set yourself up to really succeed on the 4th of August. One of the key things when you join and become a doctor is there is a huge team around you. And you're part of that team. And when you're doing the ward shadowing, really what you're doing is joining that team. An essential part of the team, but a team player. Where are you going to do that? Well, it's on your ward that you'll be working. And when we would like you over the next 2 weeks to do at least 2 full days, and at least, those of you joining us today, you've got plenty of time to do this. And why we say at least 2 full days is because we want you to experience the start of each day, the handovers, the ward rounds, how the day works for you, when you get your breaks, when you get your lunch, when you do handovers, and also how you do handovers. Handing over your clinical workload is hugely essential for patient safety. So I want you to experience that as a full day and at least 2 when you're doing your induction. Actually, these next 2 weeks, you're autonomous. You're in charge of your own workload. You've got your online learning elements, you've got simulation, ILS, and I'll go through how you access those in a second. But actually, you're in charge of this. Work it well, get the best experience you can out of these 2 weeks, so that on the 4th of August, you join your ward again, and you are really there to play your part as a doctor. Simulation training. Within NHSGGC, we have a team that's set up the simulation training, and we are delighted for you to be our first trainees within our new simulation suite. So within the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons in Glasgow on 19 Blytheswood Square, there is a brand new 2-floor simulation and clinical skills suite. You are the first users. So we welcome you to that. We look forward to some feedback, but I suspect you will find this a really, really challenging, exhilarating, and hopefully informative part of your shadowing time. So the simulation training is very much for you as new doctors to experience some of the real life issues that you will come across after the 4th of August. And again, we keep it relevant. So we utilise the DATEX and the learning from clinical incidents over the last year, and we incorporate those within our clinical skills scenarios. So you will go through, I won't tell you what they are, but you will go through these over the next few days and work as a team and actually become part of that team looking after your patients. And just before we came on this morning, we were talking about what it really means to be a doctor. And when you start a doctor, and I suspect a lot of you have worked before, so this will not be your first day working, but it is your first day working as a doctor. And that really does change life for you, because you're representing the NHS, you're representing your hospital, and you're representing your profession. So I want that just to be really at the front of your mind when you're living and working and thriving within NHSGGC, that you are representing your profession, yourself, and the organisation. With all of that, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to your colleagues, to your peers, to your friends and family. And of course, you have a responsibility to your patients. So when we think about getting ready and becoming part of the team player, the simulation training, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it informative, and I know that the team will look after you and are really looking forward to welcome you to our new facility. The immediate life support, that changes slightly for you, doesn't it? Because you're starting to be leading a team. And every single one of you joining us will undertake ILS. Some of you will take EILS, and those having ILS this afternoon are undertaking EILS. And those on the Clyde and the GRI sites will be undertaking a full day, but both are equivalent. So EILS is equal to the full day. And you're leading a team, and all of this is on your programme. So you have very specific slots to attend both ILS and simulation training. These slots, the logistics of getting you all through this in the next 2 weeks, I have to thank the team at Clyde that do this logistical exercise. Please attend. We are unable to do swaps because of the different changes in dates, that actually some of you are joining early, some of you are joining us on the 28th. So your slot is your slot. Please be on time and please attend. These are mandatory parts of your induction. And again, when you look at your own timetable, this is where the autonomy for your 2 weeks comes in, because you will see where you're working and when you can clinically do your shadowing, but also you've got your simulation and your ILS training as well. So please keep an eye on what that is. If there are any questions, we will give you contact details at the end of this talk. And everything is on our website, and we will leave you with that web address. Again, there are no such things as stupid questions. We'll come on to that in a second. So what else do you need to do for getting ready? Well, again, being a professional, there are some professional requirements. And those professional requirements, again, this is in paid time, are your statutory and mandatory training. Every single member of the medical workforce does this, including myself, and we need to do these modules. They are available to you, they're on the list, and they're through your Learn Pro accounts. We need you to evidence completion by sending that via the web repo, and again, your medical education team will keep you right with that. But these need done before you start on the 4th of August. Again, you have 2 weeks, and your timetable allows you to do that. The online elements, as expected, as we are just now, there's organisational induction, there's the online induction, which takes you through several elements of your induction. There's a wander through the organisation and the key people in the senior management team, just so you know who they are. It then takes you through a COVID module, and it takes you through some practical procedures. I know a lot of you will have been doing a lot of practical procedures within Operation Colleague in the University of Glasgow, but also within your own universities from wherever you have come from. IT training, again, an essential part of getting ready to start as a doctor, and my colleague Michael McCross will take you through how to get those passwords, etc. And we've talked about the statutory and mandatory training. There are some elements of this that you may find to be optional. And so, for example, there are some college, that you will have a lot of stuff coming into your emails. And anything that is not in our programme is optional, okay? We are not asking you to do this, but you may wish to. For example, top tips for doctors would be a really good thing to do, but it is not mandatory. And again, on Twitter, and you will recognise my age by me saying that Twitter's fantastic, but I think that there's already the top tips for doctors. I don't know if you've seen that in the Twitter feed. It starts to just now. Have a look at that. There's some great tips for how you manage as an FY1. And it's a matter of surviving, but actually let's think about thriving rather than surviving. This is a really good part of your career and the start of your career journey. This slide is really to let you know there are so many people that have a vested interest as you as a trainee. You're right in the centre of this. And there are clinical and educational governance structures around you. And your clinical governance structures, those are the doctors you work with. Your line manager is actually your clinical director. You've got an educational governance structure that sits around you as well, with your clinical supervisors and your educational supervisors. And this little diagram just shows you how many people have that investment in you as a trainee and as a doctor in training. You have the first group that are your peers, your senior trainees, your consultants. Utilise every single member of these teams to forward and choose every opportunity you can to further your own education and training. The pharmacists, the nursing staff, our SAS grades, all of these people have an interest and will support you. You've also got the educational governance team, as myself as Director of Medical Education, but there are associates on each site. We have the medical education admin team that are a wealth of information and support. And also we have sim leads, and you will have probably come across some of our sub-deans as part of your training if you're University of Glasgow. The senior management team within the board, again, have a vested interest in you training. We want you to come through your career as a doctor in training and come out as our general practitioners and our consultants of the future. Our everybody from the chief executive and the chief operations officer, you will hear from them actually in your online induction. Every single one of them have a name and will want you to succeed. And you'll have heard this before, we all want you to be the best doctor that you can be. So let's make a really good start to this with your 2 weeks. I know you've all come through medical school training, you've all passed, you've all succeeded. So clearly, there are no stupid questions. If you don't know, we don't expect you to know everything. We expect you to utilise these 2 weeks to familiarise yourself and to get into the system. But if you don't know, ask someone. You're never on your own. As an FY1, you're never on your own by definition. You have direct supervision. So although it may feel that you're on your own, you must know that you're not. Please tell somebody if you're worried about anything. If you're worried about your patient, if you're worried about your colleague, and if you're worried about yourself. Tell somebody. People are here to listen. And also, you as an individual and you as an FY1, please listen to your colleagues if your colleagues are worried about something. That may be one of your friends or your peers, your nursing staff, your pharmacy team. If they are worried, please listen, because they may have seen something or heard something or been aware of something that actually they are a bit worried about for the patients. So if they're saying, I'm a bit worried about this, they are gently hinting to you as an FY1 that they're worried and they would like you to do something about that. And you will find the most valuable colleagues as you go through the next few months within your nursing team and your senior ward sisters and charge nurses. They are a tremendous asset to you as a doctor in training. And please know there is always someone to ask and to talk to. And if you are worried about something, and if you're worried about yourself, again, there is always somebody to talk to. These last few years have been very different and challenging and difficult for us all. And you, as coming in from your 5th year, your studies were interrupted in 4th year, you started early last year, and there were changes in how you managed through your 5th year. But you are ready to start. No university would have let you start if you were not ready. So you are ready. Please have that confidence. You have the competence. Please have that confidence to start as your first day as a doctor. And you've got peers, you've got colleagues to provide that support. Remember your friends and family, of course. They'll be delighted that you're starting today. But if you need actual professional support, again, there is always someone to support you. And you will see everywhere, and again on the online induction, it will talk you through where that professional support is. We've been very fortunate within NHSGGC that during the last 18 months, our acute psychology service has been instrumental in facilitating support. And you will see the contact details within your online induction, and you will see the contact details around your hospitals, signposted and on posters. And thinking about the last 18 months and thinking about your own experiences during that time, there are several things that we need you to do when you're working with us. PPE are 3 letters I don't think we'll ever forget the significance of. And appropriate PPE is essential at all times, whether you're working or whether you're training with us. You will have, again, this online induction takes you through all of this, and donning and doffing, or just putting it on and taking it off. Please adhere to that. When you're training with us in the next 2 weeks in your simulation scenarios and your ILS, you must wear masks, because you will be in quite close contact with each other. Wear appropriate PPE. And also for the simulation, we have a little bit of a checklist for you to do. So there's a health questionnaire that you will get the day before you're coming to do the simulation. We need that back declared by 2 o'clock the day before you're coming. Obviously, we want no's to all the questions about whether you have a fever or if you've had a contact. And essentially, please do not attend either your shadowing or any of the training if you are symptomatic. We need you to follow the guidance that we all adhere to. So if you're symptomatic, please do not attend, and let your medical education team know that you're symptomatic and arrange a PCR test. So the health questionnaire for the simulation, do not attend if you're symptomatic. You will have a temperature check as you come through the Royal College, and if for any reason your temperature is up, it will be rechecked, and it would only be in the 3rd attempt that we would ask you to go home and get a PCR test. There is a Check in Scotland QR code, and also many of you will be doing lateral flow tests regularly. As University of Glasgow students, all of you had access to lateral flow tests, and I know that you'll have been doing those twice a week and recording the results. We need you to continue to do that. And if you are not familiar with this technique, we will go through that with you tomorrow. But the University of Glasgow students, I know that you have these. And again, just to re-emphasise, please do not attend if you're symptomatic. Talking about lateral flow tests, for those of you that have not had them, so those out with University of Glasgow or you've not had access to them, you will get 4 lateral flow tests tomorrow at your site induction. And if you're viewing your site induction online, then your local medical education office will have these for you. That will get you through the next 2 weeks, 2 tests per week, and then you will get them on your base ward. Twice weekly testing and recording. And these, obviously the lateral flow tests are for asymptomatic testing. If you're symptomatic, you need a PCR test. I think we'll stop there, and I'm going to hand over to Michael McCrossan, who's going to, as one of the medical education managers, is going to take you through what you need to do about IT training and passwords. And after Michael's presentation, we're going to take questions from the floor and questions from online. So if you've got any questions, again, just please come online with these, and we'll talk through the passwords and badges. Michael, thanks very much indeed.
Take my mask off now. Also, rookie mistake, not putting my second phone on silent. That's good. So, hello. Yes, I'm Michael McCrossan. I'm one of the medical education managers. I'm also the quality improvement manager for medical education. As of today, our IT provisioning will start issuing your NHSGGC emails and office access and your GGC accounts. So this will come out to your personal email in the first instance. There'll probably be a couple of emails that will come out just so that you can get your username and your password, and it's safe and secure that nobody else has it. If there is any issues with that, or you've got any queries with IT, then they've got a dedicated doctor's induction email address, which is on the screen. I will point out that we will put this presentation on the website, so you've got access to the links and kind of any of the information that's in it. So you'll get your IT out tomorrow, or as of today. Tomorrow, your PACS and track care and any other kind of clinical access you require will be kind of started to get provided for you. So there's a 45-minute session tomorrow morning with the kind of the on-site induction, departmental induction, that will cover all of the information you need to know. Glasgow Uni students have PACS access already as an undergrad. That's been now made a permanent kind of postgrad access account. So you'll get issued with your password. Anybody else that's not completed the training with Glasgow Uni have to complete a Learn Pro module, but our PACS officer will explain that tomorrow morning as well. Uniform, we are expecting you to be professional. You're now doctors as of today, which is massive, to be fair. So we're expecting you to turn up and be professional within your attire. That's the first thing or the last thing anybody will remember from you. If you want to wear scrubs, if you provide them and if you launder them appropriately at 60 degrees, just to make sure that anything that you have been in contact with is laundered. I can't think of another word for that. Badges, these are site specific. If you're on my site is the north, so I'm Glasgow Royal. You'll have been issued a Webpol link that will have been submitted to our security. You can pick up your badge from the security desk within the Queen Elizabeth building, which is next to the campsite dining. Tomorrow at your kind of site tour, you'll be shown where that is, so you can make your way to there. For REH site, the medical education team will let you know after tomorrow's induction where the best place to get that is. And the QE for both Queen Elizabeth and the Royal Hospital for Kids, you'll collect your badges within the main atrium of the Children's Hospital, and there'll be a wee station set up for you there. To jump on, we've had an update actually from the Royal College for your simulation session. The information that we sent out to you stated 8 o'clock to turn up here in the mornings. It's actually 8:30, so you get a wee bit of a longer lie, just to make sure that you get in here. You can then get a tea, coffee, a roll, and then you can make your way around for simulation. For living and working in Glasgow, Glasgow is at the heart of Scotland. If you're not from around here, it's a pretty exciting city out with COVID. With COVID, it's still pretty exciting. We've got the filming for Indiana Jones happening actually down the street. So there's been a lot of random astronauts about the city for some reason. I was going to say no reason. But to put it in perspective, Glasgow holds 41% of the population, which, when you put it in context, is pretty huge. And you'll be on the front line of looking after our residents of Glasgow. So you'll be seeing quite a lot of people, probably over your year here. We do have vibrant areas within the city. So there's the south side, which is always described as up and coming. It's kind of the cooler, trendier version of the West End, which is where now I frequent. I'm now of the age where I go to the West End because that's where I remember being cool. So there will be some information on the website about that's actually a good idea. I'll put some information from us on the website of where we like to go to kind of make us a bit more personable. So we'll ask the team where their favourite hot spots are. That's probably not a good term to use right now. Where their favourite spots are to go out. If you haven't done so already, just so that you're registered and we can keep a track of who's watched this, there is a link in the description, the description box about how to register your attendance for here. And if you've not done so already, there was a QR code at the start. If you've got any questions not really relating to here, if there's anything that crops up over the next 2 weeks, or any questions from any time during your F1 or F2 if you ever come back, please contact either one of the Med-Ed managers. So myself, Mary, who's the Southern Sector Manager, she covers the QE and RHC, or Mark, who covers REH or the IRH. Like I said, all the information that you have been provided is on the website. We'll try and keep that as up to date as possible, so if there's any updates, that will be issued to the website and issued to you. We know how busy you will be. We know how overwhelming this will be. So everything you need to know is on the website, or everything that you'll need to know will be sent to you as well. But if there's anything like my inbox right now, you'll never find it. So everything you need to know is on the website. Again, this presentation will be available on the website as well. So is there any questions or anything you're wanting to know, anything that needs clarified? We've got some time at the moment. I'll just kind of make some chat just to see if there's anything, if you want to put anything in the YouTube comment, or if there's anything on Twitter. Or if you're happy, then we can close there. Yeah.
Thanks very much indeed. Any questions coming through?
None on Twitter at the moment.
And anything from the YouTube channel?
Yeah, so we've got F1 starting level 9 ward has been updated with the exact location of the department tours. So you will be picked up from, after tomorrow's session, you'll be picked up from relatively roundabout where your departmental induction happens. So the site induction leads for each department will be there, or a representative from each ward will be there to take you around and tour with you. If we've got NHS mail from another region, will that automatically be transferred over? Hopefully. If it's an nhs.scot, then yes, our IT will already have a note of that. You might be given a GGC account just because that's the parent board that you're currently in. If it's not, then if you contact doctors.induction, then we can sort out what one will be getting used. Parking at the hospital. It's an interesting question. I'm going to go.
Thanks very much. So parking at the hospital, do we know which hospital that is?
No further detail. Not yet, no.
Okay. So parking at Paisley is free, parking at the QE is free, and at the moment the parking at GRI is free, so lots of these are going to be changing, unfortunately. And if we maybe just get a little bit more information for you, and we can take that to your site induction, whoever asked that question, and you'll get much more local information around that. Yeah. Okay.
Question about bikes. There are bike sheds on site. Your local med manager will be able to inform you how to access them and link you in with who runs the schemes.
Thank you.
And yes, just to confirm for tomorrow, it is an 8:30 start, and then if you don't want to be on site for the viewing of it, it is on YouTube, but the departmental tour and the site induction is the mandatory part, so you have to be on site for that. So there is a bit of time in between, depending on what site you're on. The QE site finishes at 11:30, REH, IRH and the GRI will finish at 11. So you've got a bit of time to meet with on site if you're not on site already.
That's great. Clarifying the scrubs. So that's Lena. Thank you very much indeed, Lena. So scrubs are not mandatory. You may find it more comfortable to wear them, and you're very welcome to wear your own. And just key thing is about the laundering. So the 60 degrees, and also an awful lot of us are using that detergent that is the antibacterial detergent as well as the 60 degrees. So yep, absolutely very welcome to wear those. You may find it more comfortable. You may find it more comfortable in your own clothes, but if you wish to wear scrubs, you're welcome to do so.
Rebecca, yeah, your NHS email details will be provided this week for you.
Fabulous. And since we're having an early induction, when the mandatory induction starts on the 28th, do we attend or do we shadow? So next week, so a week today, so this is your patient safety and trainee safety induction. A week today is the Welcome to Foundation training. So it's a different induction for you, and it's you'll meet your foundation program directors, you'll meet the president of the college here, you'll meet our medical director, Dr. Jennifer Armstrong. So it's different and mandatory. I hope that clarifies that, Aaron.
Rough idea of when induction at REH is in the building. So the induction at REH will take place within the Medical Education Lecture Theatre. So when you come into the main area of the REH, you can turn right, sorry I got my left and right mixed up there. Turn right, and it's labelled for medical education, and it's upstairs, just at the top of the stairs on the right hand side. But there will be medical education staff there to help direct you and or signage to make it easy, hopefully, for you.
And there's some parking questions for both Paisley and the QE. And again, if you've got time over the next day or so, just make yourself familiar with where you can park on these sites. There are multiple areas to park. In Paisley, there's a front car park and the back car park. what I would say is like all hospital car parking sites, the earlier that you get there, the better.
The gen surgery tour at the QE, I'm unsure of where it is located, but I've been assured that a representative will be at the Teaching and Learning Centre lecture theatre to pick you up. But if there's any issue, please contact Mary Smith, who's the medical education manager there.
And Hannah, in general, is expected that everyone wears scrubs. No, it's not. It's not mandated. It's a lot of people are wearing scrubs. I'm an anaesthetist, so I've lived my life in scrubs and elasticated waists. So I have to say, it depends whatever you feel comfortable.
In terms of the GRI induction tomorrow, if you attend the new Lister building, on the website under the GRI section, under all the sections, to be fair, there is a What 3 Words location, which will take you directly to the front door of every site. So if you use that, it'll pinpoint you directly to your front door. On the GRI site, as soon as you come to the front door, you'll be divided up into our allocated areas with the medical education team.
Okay, so let's cell in 10. So who can I contact about explaining how to interpret the ward allocation? Selin, if you could could you just tell us which site you're on and we will direct you appropriately?
So the departmental induction tomorrow will vary depending on where you're located in the hospital. I can't really give you an exact time that it will finish, but we expect it should conclude probably by 2 o'clock for every area.
Yeah, and the so the ward allocated. So Lauren, how long does the department induction last tomorrow? Some of these are quite tight, Lauren, and you've highlighted that there are some elements that are quite tight. So if you've got induction at the QE 11:30 and then over at SIM for 12:30, the starting time for SIM that's the lunch time, isn't it? The 12:30. So that's your lunch time. So the actual start of SIM is 1:30.
It's 1:30.
Yeah. So you've got a bit of time, Lauren, to get into the college, grab a bite to eat, and then off to SIM. So hopefully that explains it. That is quite tight. But again, as the logistics with 250, you will understand that some of this is a bit tighter. But there is time for you to do all of this and enjoy your lunch at the college. The QE induction.
Where is QE? The QE induction is taking place in the Teaching and Learning Centre lecture theatre, which needs to be accessed via the main hospital. So if you come to the front door of the main hospital, it's then signposted through the hospital for you.
Does it matter what colour of scrubs you wear? Absolutely not. Whatever you prefer, whatever your preference is, please feel free.
Can you please confirm if we do not hear about the location of tomorrow's departmental induction or which ward we are to be at by 11:30? Should we go on?
You will hear.
Yeah, you will. You'll definitely hear where your departmental induction or your ward allocation is, and you'll be shown how to get there. But once that's concluded, yes, please start your online or your Statman training. That's
great. So every single person goes to departmental induction tomorrow, and again, Sharif, if you let us know where you are, we can direct you appropriately. And if just very quickly, I just noticed that are we allowed to travel to and from hospital in scrubs? No. That was one thing that's very definite, is that please don't do that. Come in whatever you wish to wear, and then get changed. And Celine, I'm in GRI, so which one was that?
That is the contact-based training and interpreting ward allocations.
Okay.
Celine, if you drop me an email, I can sort that out for you. My email's michael.mccrossan at ggc.scot.nhs.uk. It's on the GRI page of the website as well.
Thank you. Any more questions? So those were fantastic questions. Thank you very much. And hopefully, just even that short session with the questions, you will realise that there is always somebody that you will be able to contact if you've got any queries about that. Just keep to your sector med ed managers, and they will keep you right. There will be a few of you sitting there that have not had occupational health clearance for a variety of reasons. There there have been some FY1s that are not cleared. I need to make it really clear to those that are not cleared that this is a small number, but really clear to those that have not had occupational health clearance, you must not start in the wards without that occupational health clearance. You can go to your departmental induction tomorrow, but please do not start clinically until you're cleared. And we will be in contact with those of you that have not got occupational health clearance, just to make sure that you have that distinction. You can do all of the other elements of the organisational induction, all of the online elements while you're waiting for that clearance. And the other thing I need you to do is, I need you not to work clinically, but I also need you to go to your appointments. So if there's any issue with that, please let us know. But we obviously you will need to be cleared by the 4th, but we will get you cleared as soon as we can.
Akash, if you can email Mary Smith at the South, she'll give you the more information about your induction.
Okay, so Sharif, did you say this? The TNO, the QE, thank you very much. So again, you will get to your place, somebody will come and get you or take you to where you need to go at trauma and orthopaedics in the QE. So Sharif, please be available for that start. So Katrina, sorry, just to confirm, who do we contact if we become symptomatic? So if you're symptomatic, you organise a PCR test, and for the next 2 weeks let your medical education manager know that you're symptomatic and you will not be attending, and we will keep a note of this. So if you become symptomatic, arrange a PCR test. One of the best ways to look to see what's current is look at NHS Inform. That's always up to date. So NHS Inform will keep you right with PCR testing. When you're working and when you've got your GGC web email address, you will then start to get all of the core briefs that contain all of that staff information, and also NHSGGC has that information. So several websites are up to date and will keep you right with that. So Sam, if you email me directly, so lindsay.donaldson@ggc.scot.nhs.uk, and we will look to see whether you're cleared or not, Sam. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other questions?
Yeah, Natasha has asked, when we get our new emails later today or tomorrow, will all of our emails start going there, as if we want everything in the email?
Yes. Yeah, as soon as there will be a bit of a gap, we'll try and email out to our current information of your email addresses, but we'll slowly migrate over to your NHS ones. Keep an eye on the website. If there's any pertinent information over the immediate next few days, the website is the most up-to-date information.
And I think just a very short note about emails. You will be used to having a secure email address with your university emails. This is something that we need you to do, is to start using your secure NHS email address as soon as you can. You need a secure email for that, and there will come a time that we can only send the information to your secure email address. So again, just keep an eye on that and switch over as soon as you can. So do we have to email if we want to attend the induction lectures in person tomorrow at the QE? So thanks very much, Sophia. So I think our MedEd manager, Mary Smith, has emailed you to ask if you're coming in or not. So if you've changed your mind, please let her know, because there is a number that we cannot go over, and if we're over that number, we will find alternative accommodation in the QE site, because I absolutely appreciate that things are tight for you to allow you to move, but that's why there's a definite coffee break for you, so that you can start to move and get to the right place. And the sessions will finish the absolute latest 11 o'clock tomorrow to allow you time. So please Sophia, please let Mary Smith know that you're wanting to attend. So James, the occupational health update is that we do not want you to start in the wards until you're cleared. So there's a very subtle difference between working clinically, because we don't want to put you in that position that you're not cleared. So again, Those of you that are not cleared, we will be in contact with you this afternoon just to clarify what you can and can't do, but you can do all of the elements online until you're waiting to be cleared.
Heather, the rota teams will be issuing the rotas as soon as possible, just covering any eventuality at the moment. So you will hear as soon as possible with your rota. Everyone will hear.
So how do we know if we've been cleared by occupational health? Okay, so I think probably what we'll need to do is, those of you, if you don't hear anything from us, you have been cleared, because we will contact those that are not cleared by occupational health.
And if you're wanting to be at the Teaching Learning Centre tomorrow, if you can let Mary Smith know, as Dr. Dorrance has said, there is a cap on how many people we can safely accommodate within some of the space. So if you can just let Mary Smith know for the QE site, or for any site to be fair, the respective Med Ed manager.
And Hannah, yes, you can access your NHS email from home. And your phone and any other device. And you may not wish to do that.
Yeah.
You may wish to, you may not wish to do that, but you can.
Just for some clarity around the NHS email, and it's all based off of Microsoft Office 365, so you will, with getting your NHS email, you get access to the full suite of Microsoft products, which you can, as Dr. Thompson said, you can access them from the house as well. This also feeds into how we will provide your education going forward. It's all done over Teams, and it's kind of recorded, saved within our Merlin, which is the Medical Education Resource Library. So everything, there will be more instruction coming out about how to access that if you're not used to using Teams. Again, please keep checking the website.
Suleiman, you've asked about the secure NHS email, and is this the email we should expect to receive our contract? So whichever email address recruitment have for you, the contracts all come from recruitment. I would keep an eye on that just in case it goes to that email, but once you've got two, keep an eye on both. Your contracts come from recruitment.
And then who to contact if your university email has now been closed. You need to contact your university, either fifth year lead or kind of whoever's in charge of student communications.
Okay, and so Megan's looking to get the new emails. So again, Megan, if you don't have an email, contact your Med Ed manager about that to get you to make sure that you're on the lists so that you can get your secure email address. We've probably got another few minutes for questions, so please keep these questions coming. I suspect there's lots of questions that are going through your minds about how you start, and the blend of having some virtual and having some in person. Again, please, if you can, be timely to all of these things. There is time built in, but clearly if you live further away, it may be better to attend in person tomorrow so that you've got time to have your cup of coffee and then attend what you need to attend. So you've got your programme. If there are any questions, your Med Ed managers are your absolute point of contact for that. And we're just having a wee look on Twitter to see if there's anything. And I think there's another question has come in. Thank you. Are you eligible for study leave in FY1? So your foundation programme directors keep you right with your FY1, what you need to do and what you need to do to achieve to get through FY1?
And Lena, depending on what site you're on, your Med Ed manager, so if you're on GRI site, your Med Ed manager is myself, so it's michael.mccrossan@nhs.scot.nhs.uk. Yeah, you can just go back one actually. Yeah. Very good plan. And if you're on the southern sector, which is the QEUH or the RHC, it's Mary Smith. And then if you're on the REH or IRH, it's Mark Ulrich. But again, all this information is on the website. It's on if you click through FY1 and then scroll down the page, you've got all your kind of hospital sites. When you click on your hospital site, you've then got all information pertaining to that site and that sector. Solomon,
thank you. That's kind of you, thank you. One of the other things that often comes up at this, this time of year, as you get towards the 4th of August, again, the key thing is really the shadowing part of these 2 weeks. Really understand what your outgoing FY1, what their job is. Get a really good handover from them as to what's ongoing within the ward. And I would encourage you to spend as much time as you can with that FY1, that you will be doing their job in 2 weeks' time. You've got quite a lot to do to get ready for that, but there is time, and hopefully you will hear some absolute nuggets of top tips from your FY1. They, again, like the rest of your colleagues, are a huge source of help and support over these next 2 weeks.
I will look into that, Ellie. I will post the email on the website this afternoon, and I'll also speak to our user provision who run that mailbox, so I'll find out what's going on.
Yeah, thank you.
If you want to send it to myself, I can then forward it on as well.
Fabulous. Thanks very much indeed. Anything else from the audience? Any questions?
No.
We have a bit of a live audience here, and we're just seeing if there's anything else that we'd like. Again, some very specific groups, the occupational health clearance, and also those doing their ILS this afternoon, you'll hear from us. I think with that, thank you very much, Michael, and thank you for all of you for attending today. We encourage you to utilise your QR codes to evidence your attendance. The FY1 buddy, you'll be allocated tomorrow. Again, depending on what your FY1s are doing in the shifts, it may not be a specific, but over the next couple of days you'll have somebody to help you, to mentor you, etc. around that. So again, when you go into the wards, they will help you with that, but there may not be somebody specific for the whole 2 weeks. And in fact, some of you may know some of your FY1s. So I think they will entirely look after you for the next 2 weeks, no matter who it is and what shift they're doing. So they will look after you. And the key things as well around, looking after yourself in the next couple of weeks, depending on what hospitals are, you get your FY1 buddies to show you where to get a snack, where to get a drink, where to get a shower, where to go to the loo. All of these things are really, really important as you work through the day, and we'll chat a bit more next week around breaks, etc., as you near that 4th of August. But for the next week, enjoy what you're doing, get yourself ready, and any questions around any aspect of this shadowing or induction period, please just ask. You've got time to do this, and let's just spend some time familiarising yourself. Have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday at the same time. We'll be back on this channel, and in the meantime, as I say, enjoy your week. So thank you very much, everybody, and thank you very much to the team here. Thank you.